Welcome to Upfront. How are you?
Hey Ray, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am super excited to have you on the show. As we were talking offline, your publicist listened to Upfront and was like, I've got to get my client on the show. He's got this amazing web series that's making a lot of noise, and I think he would be great for your audience. I had an opportunity to watch Scales and just love, again, the diversity, the stories, being able to look at LGBTQ relationships from a different perspective. And of course, it's based on Atlanta. I live here. And to kind of know what's going on, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm all in. And to have another creative on the show, someone that is pushing Atlanta forward as Hollywood South, I was like, absolutely, we got to get him on the show. So welcome.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. And just again, as I said offline too, I am a fan of yours. And so it's, dreams do come true. I'm very excited to be here. So I'm fanning out a little bit. So thank you so much for enjoying the show.
No problem. So before we talk about the third season of the series, let's go all the way back. When did you know that you wanted to be an actor?
Oh, wow. I think I would have to say probably as a little kid. I'm an only child. And so as an only child, you find ways to entertain yourself when you don't have siblings at home or whatnot. So I would put together these little skit and plays that I would create myself, and I would put them on for my aunt, my grandmother, and my mom. But then, Vacation Bible School, I was in plays. I just had a natural knack for the dramatics, the drama, I guess you'd call it. And then in high school, I was in, Romeo and Juliet. I was in plays, and I was like, I think I have the acting bug because it came natural to me to look at a script. And I was that kid that would memorize not only my lines, but everyone else's lines. And I would be feeding people lines on stage and would get irritated if they missed a line. So I feel like since I was probably 6 years old, I knew that acting was a part of who I was. And then, of course, in high school, when I was 15, the late Joel Schumacher, because he passed, I think a month ago, saw me in the DMV line about to get my driver's license and asked if I wanted to be in a movie, which turned out to be A Time to Kill, starring Sandra Bullock, Samuel Jackson, Matthew McConaughey. And I think being able to have that opportunity truly sort of heighten my creativity to know that this is something that I really, really love.
And so you went about your career. You went to college, you were in corporate America, and then there was a traumatic incident that took place in 2017, correct? And that sort of changed
Yeah,
the trajectory of your
that
career.
that was the big thing in life when you have those moments that happen and you realize, wow, life is really short. Actually, it's almost been the third year anniversary. I think was August 17th. But 3 years ago, I was in Barcelona with my best friend when a terrorist attack happened over there. Literally right in La Rambla where we were staying on the same street corner. And the day before, we were just talking about my best friend Chris was like, well, Patrick, are you still writing? What's going on? We were just talking about other projects. I was like, well, corporate life, work, da, da, da. I was like, maybe I'll do it one day or something. And then the terrorist attack happened, and we were all sequestered to our hotel. Immediately after that, the city shut down. And I remember Chris saying to me, he says, think if, just think about what if we had been in that crowd and we could have been killed. Like tomorrow isn't promised. And he says, you used to love talking about film and acting and all this stuff, and you stopped. And it was like a resurgence in me, Ray, that says, I'm going to get back to doing it. So that night, because I travel everywhere with my computer, I just started writing. I literally just started writing stories of what I call them. And then I was like, let me just do a little script here. And I started thinking about experiences that I had when I was younger dating and some of my friends, their stories. And right at that moment, as I was on like page 7, the person that's in the White House came on TV. And of course, I'm like, I can't escape this person, this guy, because I'm all the way here in Barcelona and they're talking about him. And I was like, considering all the tragedy that had just happened in Barcelona, this guy who spews what he spews and all the things in the world, I said, there needs to be a show that's representing a Black man and a culture that's sometimes marginalized, but then I wanted to have a different point of view. And I was like, if we look at life, we're all on a scale. We're all trying to balance something in our life. And out of that, I just wrote the title. I said scales. And then I said, I'm going to start, everything is going to be about this guy trying to balance everything in his life. And of course, it's a dramedy. So there's a little humor and, serious stuff going on. And that was the birthplace of the series. And after I wrote that first script, then Chris, my best friend, he says, what are you going to do now that you've completed it? I was like, oh, well, I did what I needed to do. He says, no, you need to make this happen. And so lo and behold, because I'm an internet nerd, I started researching web series and people that had done them. And I came across, this was in 2017, that's when I first discovered really who Issa Rae was. And I read her story and I kind of became obsessed with her story. And I watched Awkwardly Black Girl and I was like, oh, okay. And it led to an HBO thing. I said, I want to make sure when I get back to Atlanta, I am making this show happen. And once we got back, like in September, I started having auditions. I found, like she said, you find your tribe. I found a tribe because we were all a bunch of strangers. We came together. My producer, director, DP, cinematographer, all those people, we were virtual unknowns. We came together to make this project, and then Scales was born. And I gave life to it June of 2018 when season 1 debuted on YouTube.
Absolutely. So Patrick, we've been talking on Upfront over the last couple of months about COVID's impact on the entertainment industry. We've called this segment "The Show Must Go On." You actually just went through COVID training to get your production back going. You're coming out with season 3. Can you kind of give us some insight on what that training was like for filmmakers here in Atlanta?
Sure. Well, I think, again, the opportunity for independent creatives like myself and others, we have a little bit of an advantage because we're used to working with less. Those major productions, they're used to having hundreds of people work on set. Our team usually has about 15 or maybe 16 people behind the scenes. So of course, with those CDC guidelines, we knew that I knew I was gonna have to make this decision to cut the crew size. So we cut the crew size down to 6. That was the director, DP, and then the other 4 people were going to be wearing multiple hats, as well as myself. I would hold a light, whatever that need to happen. That's what we need to do. It was required. Everyone was going to have to wear a mask. I took the COVID-19 training that the Georgia Film Commission offered, and I also took there was information that the CDC provided on the cdc.gov website. So as a HR training professional, my background is in, I took that training and created kind of our own internal training that I was going to deliver to the cast and crew, which consisted of a blended model of a few e-learning descriptions, as well as what the set requirements were going to be, which included pretty much what everyone else is doing. Temperature checks when you arrive on set, temperature checks throughout the day, just to make sure no one was going to maybe catch a fever later on or show any symptoms. All the lunches that were provided, lunches and snacks were now, a year ago, you would just get pizza and everyone would, dig in. We had brown paper bag lunches, everything were separated. We practiced social distancing. The cast and crew, when possible, during lunches, we were outside, so people went their own separate ways. But I did a great job too by having each cast member and crew member sign like an attestation that they had completed these requirements that were outlined based on the CDC guidelines, and we adhered to them throughout. And again, the trainer in me, I continued to reiterate what the top things we're going to do, like, hey, practicing social distancing. I also, and several cast members and crew members, we got COVID tested prior to filming, and just making sure that we put ourselves kind of like in a internal bubble. So when we weren't filming, we sort of trusted each other. Go home, stay home. And that's what we would do. And if there had been a change in direction, if someone went out or something, then there was a communication channel set up to contact either myself or the director, letting us know. And coincidentally, we had zero COVID contact, or no one got contracted COVID or whatnot. And we truly had such a genuine respect and care for each other, that no one wanted to put each other at risk. So even when we would practice running lines, we would have our mask on. And the only time we would take them off, of course, was when we were actually going to be filming that scene. And last but not least, because I want to throw this in here, I made changes to the script to sort of have it align with COVID. So what people will see in season 3 is that over 65% of the series, you'll see us outside in locations. And we had a lot of location shots because, again, they say you want to be in the fresh air and not be shooting in confined spaces. So we were able to take advantage of Punt City Market, Old Fourth Ward, the Beltline, the park, early in the morning, of course, when there wasn't so many people. So, and I think visually it's going to look amazing because there's so much that natural light, and people will be able to watch the show and be like, oh, I know where this place is. Oh, I know where this place is. And we took that, I know that I took it very, very serious because, you know, we're independent. People aren't making a whole lot of money to be in Scales. And I definitely wouldn't want to jeopardize anyone's health. And I think we all had that same respect for each other.
What's next for you? I know we've got the season 3, which we just talked about, but you've got a new series that's coming up. Let's talk about that one as well.
Yeah, so again, in this time of COVID, you know, I think for creatives, this is our moment to pivot. This is where we really thrive, you know, because we have so much time at home, and you write and you write. And I'm a person that writes every day for the most part. So I have this script. It's called S.P.A.D.E.S, which stands for Single People Are Dating Everyone Stupid. And it is a sort of it's like an urban comedy, but it's a little bit of a spinoff from Scales because it's following one of the characters that stars as Kim. And it's her and two of her friends they went to Clark together, and now they're out in the world dating, and they have like the worst dating experiences. So it's sort of like these Gen Z people dealing with dating. So for me as an artist, it was a challenge because, again, I'm not a Gen Z person, but I was like, all the things I hear, it's like dating, you swipe left or swipe right, or you date off of Instagram, social media. And I was like, I really want to take a humorous look at people dating in that kind of environment. And there is S.P.A.D.E.S. And so we're looking to start filming S.P.A.D.E.S actually in the fall. Knock on wood, hopefully COVID doesn't get too crazy and shut us down, even though the numbers are here in Georgia are weird. But I would like to shoot the pilot sometime in late September, early October.
All right. Well, Patrick LaDonis, thank you so much for being a guest today on Upfront. How can our listeners stay in contact with you on social media?
Sure. Well, they can follow me on Instagram. It's I am Patrick LaDonis, all one word. And I'm Patrick LaDonis on Facebook and Twitter. And you can follow the show as well, Scales the Web, on Instagram. And if you want to watch us, you can watch us on YouTube. Just type Scales the Web series. And we're also on ReveryTV.com, a global streaming service.
All right. Well, again, thank you so very much, and best of luck to you on this.